nor do I. In crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, 815.
What I'm saying, Tom, as my dog starts to figure out my new layout in my office, people don't get bored anymore, Tom. They just don't. They get interrupted. I'm Greg. He's Tom. We're here to interrupt you with our In Crowd 815 podcast.
How you doing, Greg? Anyway, I just wanted to say good morning, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
It's the 18th day of April, the year 2026, the latest it has ever been.
Well, I forgot my line. In the history of mankind.
Oh, we've only been doing this for like how many years now? How many years have we been doing this now?
Oh,
at least with that line over a decade anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well over a decade.
Today is episode number 646. If you've been tracking along since the very, 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 very beginning, it's number 315 of our podcast era. I like it in my use of the word era. It's our podcast era. I'm trending right now. That's right. Me and Taylor, me and T Swift, we're all good. Look what's over my left shoulder, Tom.
It's there again. It looks like
it's back.
It looks like a thermometer.
It's on.
Oh, down air light.
If I turn it on though, you can't read it. If I leave it off, you can kind of see that there's words on there. The office has been completely rearranged. The studio has been completely rearranged this week. And we're back there. Yours is nice. Is yours battery operated or is it a plug-in?
Well, mine is battery operated, but the battery's dead. There you go. You are on the air. Do you know you've been in my house a few times, but you've never been downstairs. I built an office downstairs that my wife decided to take over with boxes. So now I'm upstairs in the man cave with Harlan the Husky or Harlan. No, I don't have a name for him. I gotta work on that. Anyway, I'm up here in the teddy bear cave. And where was I going with this? Oh, but downstairs I hardwired an on-the-air sign that I got from the ROK studio. When they were ready to tear it down, Becky Rojas, our former GM, great gal, love her. She is awesome. Anyway, she's probably not listening. So I'm buttering her up for nothing. Anyway, she said
AI search for her name and it's going to pop up because we talked about her today.
That's right. Anyway, so she said anybody who wants to grab stuff from the old building, feel free. In my you can't see it, but over in my little closet here, I grabbed a shelving unit that I use in there. It's really cool. But I got 2 on the air lights and I hardwired one into my office so that when you turn the light on, it says on the air. So it's really cool. I will send you a picture of it.
And this one came from the WQFL, WGSL studios from Pebble Creek Trail.
Oh, really? Okay, yes. So we're both thieves. Okay.
Well, as they were disassembling that, I was told, hey, we're taking this stuff apart. Do you want any of this stuff? And I saved a few very special things, that being one of them.
I know. I'm just kidding.
In the corner of my office is a chair you've seen in many other episodes of the podcast. It's a director's chair. Embroidered on the top says 101 QFL. And then the great big 101 QFL banner that we had people sign in Nashville when we went to CMA weeks is hanging right now currently in the basement because there's no wall space in here for it. So it probably won't end up in here at any time, but maybe at some time it will. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's our guests are patiently waiting by. So let's take care of business before we get to our guests. Current race to 10 has Greg in the lead by a score of 5-4. And our big number of the week this week, throw up the graphic, please. AI, throw that up for me. Thank you very much. 1.36 million is the answer. Condo or Cathedral? Condo or Cathedral? Put your guess in the comments and let us know what you think. 1.36 million. Has to do with either Condo or Cathedral. I know they're both buildings that they don't normally have similarities as so much like this, but yeah, I think both stories are pretty interesting. That's why I grabbed them, and that's why they're this week's big number of the week. Our guests today are extremely interesting people, and I can't wait to introduce them to you. So we're going to bring on to the screen after I put up this great big Rockford America 250 logo.
Nice.
The 815 Stone Scrubbers and the Auxiliary Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War. I'm pretty sure that's the longest title of an organization we've ever had on the podcast in the history of our show. Welcome to Janie and to Jennifer. It's the JJ girls. Good morning, J and J.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us today. How you all doing?
Great. It's 8 a.m. We had a little coffee. We're good.
Yeah. I'm up earlier than normal.
I got a lot of coffee.
Well,
and by the way, before I forget, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Okay.
It's 40 degrees out there.
It's different. Yeah. Well, let's learn about Janie first. Okay, Janie, we want to know about you. Are you a native Rockfordian? Where'd you grow up and go to high school and stuff like that?
I am not a native Rockfordian, although I've lived here for almost 10 years now. So I'm just claiming that I am a Rockfordian. So I love Rockford. I grew up in Chicago, Humboldt Park, and lived in various suburbs throughout my life. And then about like 2013, 14, I joined the Junior League of Rockford. I was living in Elgin and was commuting back and forth and was heavily involved with them and made some really great lifelong friends. And they said to me, why don't you just move out here? And I was like, that's like a genius idea. I love Rockford. I have great friends here now. I'm doing it. So I did. And so here I am today. I love Rockford. I love everything about Rockford. When I go places and I wear my Art Deli Rockford t-shirts, people will often come up to me like, oh, I used to live in Rockford, or my mommy was from Rockford, or I get that very often. So I am a big supporter of local business and Rockford.
So you're Chicago suburbs gal. What high school did you go to? What was your mascot?
A Raider. I was Bolingbrook High School.
Bolingbrook Raiders, Tom. Do we got any jokes about the Bolingbrook Raiders? I don't know if we got
the Raiders. No, I don't know.
Don't mess with the Raiders. In your era at Bolingbrook,
Greg likes
big teams. Did your football team or basketball team have any good runs in the?
Yeah, we did. Actually, I was class of 89. Yes, I just dated myself, but we had a really phenomenal football team. I know one of our football players went on to play professionally. I believe his name was Lloyd Kerr, if I remember correctly. But yeah, we had some really great sports back in the day. So
awesome.
I always remember. Greg and I have a radio background. And so as a remote tech at ROK, among other things, I would set up for games. And I remember Bolingbrook being in one of our schools played Bolingbrook at some point. I just remember that because I covered many of the high school football games. So
regional
you guys
sectional
for a long time.
Yep.
Something like that.
Nice.
That's good. That's cool.
And then what kind of a career arc led you to working for something that has you brought to Rockford now? What was the job after high school or college that you're like started here and little bit of a brief resume, if you will?
For the longest time I worked for a manufacturing company called Hexagon Metrology. And so they were located in Elgin. I worked with them for 21 years and then the pandemic hit. And, since I was one of the longest high paid dollar managers there at the time, and we were going through a downturn. Yeah, I was my farewell. But, I gave myself 24 hours to grieve during that process because it wasn't about losing the job. It was about the connections that I had, my team, my people, my family, really, spending so much time with people after 21 years. It was like you lost a family. So, yeah, I gave myself that 24 hours to grieve. And then, who's hiring during a pandemic? No one. And, did a lot of research on my house at that time because I had just moved into my house here in Churchill's Grove, where Jennifer lives as well. We're down the street neighbors, coincidentally. And that's how this kind of all sort of kicked off down the line.
Okay. Well, but before we get into 815 Stone Scrubbers itself, let's bring Jennifer up here and ask her the same questions. Did you grow up in Rockford? Are you a native Rockfordian? Where'd you go to high school? All that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. I grew up, my first 10 years was in Sycamore. And then we moved to Roscoe. And I don't know how many years ago it was that I moved. I guess probably 19-ish years ago, and probably more than that. I moved to Rockford, and then I moved back home to my parents for a little while, and then I moved back to Rockford. But I've been on Rockford for a couple decades now. So,
okay. And which high school did you end up graduating from amongst all the moving around?
Okay, well, I was at Hananiga, but I dropped out my senior year and I ended up graduating from Roosevelt here in Rockford. So I didn't want to do the full year of credits to finish in Rockton. So I did like the 2 classes I needed to graduate in Rockford. So
I have a daughter that did the same thing. One of my daughters did the same thing. So I'm done. Yeah. I'm going to go to Roosevelt and finish. So awesome. Yeah. So as far as career stuff goes, what kind of work resume do you have to tell us about?
So I started in higher ed as an admin assistant 2001 at Rockford College at the time. And my dad had worked there, so I kind of had an in. And then I was in marketing and publicity for 10 or so years, local. She's kind of my second mom, or was my second mom. And she did literary publicity for New York authors. She was based here in Rockford, and I was her first employee, and I helped her kind of work on all of that. And we started podcasts and stuff, fun stuff back in the day. In 2008, when the economy crashed, and that veered off, I ended up graduating from Rock Valley in 2007, and I started working there actually in the fall of 2007. So I was doing both jobs, but then I've been at Rock Valley ever since. So I'm currently the curriculum coordinator at Rock Valley College.
The what coordinator?
Curriculum coordinator.
Awesome. Okay. So are you in charge of gathering it or like approving it, or how does that work? Yeah,
I'm in charge of coordinating all the chaos that is. So right. It's working with faculty and administrators, revising courses, passing through new courses. It goes through curriculum committee, and then it might have to go, and programs too, it might have to go to the board. It has to go to the state. It has to get approved through all the different entities that need to approve it, and then goes on the books and goes in the catalog, and so all of that.
So you got to work pretty closely with Jen Thompson and make sure everything's marketed right with all the curriculum titles. And oh my gosh, that's got to be crazy work.
It's fun. It's very detailed, and I'm like, I'm a perfectionist, so it kind of works. It works.
You kind of need to be in a position like that. So kudos to you. Thank you. That's wild work. Awesome. Well, you partnered together with 815 Stone Scrubbers, and what's the genesis of that idea? What can you tell us about where that came about and how that all started? Janie, you want to go with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So It was about 2022. Well, Jennifer and I had met maybe like a few years prior to 815 Stone Scrubbers. She was doing some volunteer work for photography for Junior League of Rockford, and we were dressed up as peaches because it was like a fundraiser thing we were doing. And we met, we exchanged numbers, and then we went about our business and didn't see each other for quite some time. And then 815 Stone Scrubbers evolved. I started posting more about it. She saw it and was like, hey, you kind of do what we do with our auxiliary. Do you want to join us? Or could we collaborate? I think it was. And so we did. And, we have this great partnerships between them. And it just so happened that at that time, in order to join the auxiliary, you have to have some kind of family member that was part of the Civil War or prove documentation that you had family. And at that time, I had no family, so I was riding on my husband's ancestry's coattails because you can do that. But fast forward to about a year ago, I then found out I did actually have a family member in the Civil War. So I'm legit now. I'm not riding on the husband's coattails anymore. So I joined the auxiliary. And so together we partner, we research together, we clean gravestones together. We're always trying to recruit new people interested in learning about history and preservation of the Civil War and wanting to do more on that. So.
Okay.
I don't know, Jennifer, would you like to add anything onto that or?
Now it's your time for your side of the story, Jennifer.
Okay.
Anything to add to that, Jennifer?
I think she covered it pretty well. I saw what she was doing with the stone scrubbing, and she was over in Greenwood, which is right across the street from Churchill's Grove. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I knew we were neighbors at that point because she had moved in and being that I was working remote in 2000, or not 2000, in COVID 2020. Years and numbers, we don't work out very well, but in 2020, and I would run past her house because I would go on runs at lunchtime because I'm home, and and I was like, hey. And then when I saw that she was doing this stuff, I'm seeing it on Facebook, and I'm like, Mom, we need more members in our auxiliary, which I can tell you more about that later. But and then I was like, this is the kind of stuff that we do. So then I reached out to her, and yeah, so now we joined forces and we help the 815 Stone Scrubbers, and then she helps our auxiliary, and we work together pretty well. So
there really is no what would you call it? There's no government division of organization to maintain gravestones. I mean, right? There's really no, every cemetery has its own maintenance situations, and some much better than others. I leave it at that, I suppose. But anyway, is that kind of where you saw that there's some care that should be taking place here that we could maybe fill the gap? Is that kind of how things started? I'm totally assuming here, and I'm ready to tell me I'm way off.
Close. I think what happened is during my time period of during COVID of looking for a job, I was doing a lot of genealogy on my house, so house genealogy, and I realized that the original owners were buried at Greenwood Cemetery up the road. And when I went to go look at their gravestones, they were just full of moss and gross, and they were just not what I feel a grave should look like. I'm Hispanic, and in our culture, we honor our dead and we constantly talk about them, remembering them. And seeing that just kind of made me a little sad that nobody came to the grave sites to see these loved ones of the past. And so I started doing some research, and it was COVID time. And I saw that because we could be outside, there was a company coming to Peoria that was training individuals on how to clean gravestones. And so I decided to attend it. I got a friend to come with me that lived in Peoria, and I absolutely fell in love with it and decided this was something that I wanted to do. So I came back to Rockford and contacted Greenwood Cemetery, because you have to ask permission. That's the number one thing you have to do. You can see all these videos online on cleaning gravestones and doing things, but you have to ask permission, because these are historic gravestones. Maybe they don't have family that is around anymore caring for them, so they're not yours to just go in and start cleaning. You have to have permission from the cemetery itself. So I asked Greenwood if I could come in and clean. Not a problem. I gave them a description of how I've been taught. They were accepting to that. And then I just started asking friends, hey, have any dead relatives that I can clean their gravestones? And, that just started happening.
Who's this new morbid friend I've just made? What's up with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great opening line.
Yeah. Do you have any dead family members like could clean their gravestones? And so I started doing that. And then it just kind of like all of my friends, then I cleaned their family's gravestones, and I just put it on pause for a while. And then in 2022, I met a lady who was doing a specific research on Civil War veterans in Winnebago County. And there are about 2,000 Civil War veterans from that era that are buried here in Winnebago County. And so I joined her research team. And then as I was going through all the research and then looking online to see who these individuals were, I began to see like, gosh, these gravestones are dirty and they need to be cleaned. And what a horrible way to be a veteran and have your gravestone looking like this. And so I said to her, hey, I know how to clean gravestones. I've taken classes. Would you mind if I took this project a step further and start cleaning them? She's like, have at it, do what you want. You've got the names, I'll support you in any way you want. So then we started off with 3 volunteers. Jennifer then came on board, and in that first season we started with 3 and ended up with 50 volunteers by the end. So we just started cleaning and posting it on Facebook and teaching people how to clean gravestones. The Daughters of the American Revolution were interested. They came out. We had various Girl Scout troops come out. We had the Sons of Union Veterans come out. And then, all our auxiliary, I recruited friends, and it was just great to see that the community felt that this was an important thing to do to continue preservation in cemeteries, because that's what it's really about. It's about preservation, and it's about history, teaching about what these individuals did, who they were, how they fought for our freedoms. And, we just want to be able to make sure they're cared for if they're forgotten, and make sure that they are respected and their stories are told.
Nice.
I have a couple of questions, if I may.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay. I'll ask them both, and then you can respond because I'll forget the second question by the time you're done with the first. Number one, how many gravesites do you clean in one day? Let's just say it's both of you together. You're hammering it out. Can you do 5 in one day, 10 in one day, 2 in one day? And then the second question is, when do you clean them again? Like, do you put them on a schedule? Like, okay, this is Officer Bob Smith. We cleaned his in March. We're going to go back in October and clean it again, or something along those lines.
Those are great questions. So I would say this: those flats that you see on screen right now, we call them flats. So they're rectangular flat gravestones. You can probably clean if you've got some in an area. where there are multiples, you can probably clean 5 to 6 within an hour, because the process that we have and the way we teach you is to, we've got special solution that you have to use. You're going to spray them, walk away, let that the solution absorb in the pores of the stone, and then go to the next one and the next one. So by the time you're done with the 6th one, spraying it and getting it ready and prepared, you can go now back to the first one and then start cleaning that one. So that process can happen. When you have bigger monuments, big gravestones, they can take up to an hour, maybe even more, depending on their size and how dirty they are. And then your question in regards to how often. So it depends on the environment and how the weather has happened throughout the year. So I know at the GAR, or the military section at Greenwood Cemetery, we first cleaned those in 2022. And I'm so proud of that, because it looks like a very miniature, smaller scale of Arlington National Cemetery. It's beautiful. And so when you go there, it looks great. But I was telling Jennifer and her mom that I noticed this past winter when I was out there, when there was no snow on the ground, that some of the stones are starting to get algae back on it and some mold. So it's about time to go back in there. But the solution lasts a great long time, because the D2 biological solution gets into the gravestone pores. It sits in there, dries, and every single time it rains, it reactivates the solution to continue to kill whatever bacteria and mold has grown on the stone.
That's cool.
Well, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So can I? I was going to ask if I could tell you a little bit about our mission. I'd like to talk about our mission. So, well, actually, let me back it up a little bit, because I really want this to be impactful, and I really want people to think about this. So I want you guys to imagine, and listeners to imagine, that you recently find out that your great-great-great-grandfather was a Civil War veteran. And all excited about this, that this ancestor was so imperative to the freedoms that we have today. You're excited and you're honored at the fact that you've discovered this. You start doing research and you find out that, wow, his gravestone is just across the river at Cedar Bluff Cemetery. I want to go see that with my own eyes, because I'm excited about my family's history. And you get there and you arrive at the gravestone and you look down and you see that his gravestone is dirty, broken, and crumbled into pieces. I want you to think about that. How does that make you feel? A veteran has that kind of a gravestone. And, 815 Stone Scrubbers is a non-for-profit volunteer organization whose mission is about making sure that no fallen veteran is forgotten. No fallen veteran is forgotten on our dime. So we want to make sure that they're remembered, that they're honored and cared for. And that's what our main mission is. Our main objectives are cleaning gravestones, repairing them if they need it, and then honoring our veterans.
Can you get a job in government, please? My neighbor, God bless him, he's a wonderful man. He is just turned 78. He's got Agent Orange. He's got a lot of other stuff related to it. It has taken him 40 plus years to get the VA to, and the VA, I know their hands are tied. I know a lot of good government workers whose hands are tied. I'm not calling them out. I'm just saying the system, the process is skewed. There's something wrong when we don't take care of our veterans. And I don't care if you're a veteran that's 78 or a veteran that's 28. You have to take care of them, period. End of story. And this is the thing that I think bothers me the most. And it makes me, I don't want to say ashamed, because I have nothing to do with it. I take care of my buddy. I take his garbage pails in. I do whatever I can. And he helps me. And we have a great relationship. And I thank him for his service. He was in the Vietnam War. And, but I want more people to be like that. I want more people to think about those who laid the foundation, literally, for this country. Those who fought in the Civil War, those who fought in World War I, II, any of the other wars. defending our country. Why can't people just get it? It's so frustrating. So I'm off my soapbox now.
No, I absolutely agree. I wish and I say I wish. I know that I do a lot of volunteer in the community with my job and my own self-being. I try to focus on a percentage of it being veteran related time that I give. Veterans are near and dear to my heart. I've had a lot of family members, my dad, grandfathers, great grandfathers fight in wars, or just serve in military. And so veterans are near and dear to my heart. And I think that that's why this project is so special to me, because, veterans are forgotten a lot of times, and not only in life, but in death. And with us doing this, their stories are told, history that maybe somebody didn't know about. Right there on the screen, Albert McDowell, prime example. That gentleman, for 159 years, he was only ever known as A. McDowell. And we came along and researched him. It took us 18 months, but we found out what his name was. And he was a slave man from Georgia who was owned, and in probate records, we were able to find his name and put his name on that grave. And now his history, all the documentation and everything has been put forth. It's on Find a Grave, and people can learn about him, and his story has been told. And I think that's the passionate part of the project that I love. I love cleaning. Don't get me wrong. I love feeling good after I've done that. But this is an important part of the project. When we have our volunteers out there, we highly encourage them to download the app Find a Grave and really connect with who they're cleaning, read their story, learn about their history, and then go tell somebody else about what we do and what you learned. Because then that's how their stories about what they did during the Civil War, or what they contributed to when they came back after war, get told, and how they're remembered and honored.
You are really striking a chord with me. If I may, I have one veteran that I absolutely adore. It's my dad. He passed away about 8 years ago. So this was the flag they gave me as he had the military funeral and everything. And it normally sits up there. You can't see it. That's what I went to grab because that's part of my collection, my wall of fame up there. I am going to go to his grave site today. Him and my mom are buried next to each other, so I'm going to do that today. So
great.
I just wanted to say that.
Oh, I love it. I love the fact that you're going there to visit them and remember who they are and sharing your story with us. I applaud you for that. Thank you.
Well, they're both buried at Scandinavian. Scandinavian. And I golf at Mississippi. My son and I went golfing the other day, and I joked. I says, "Dude, don't hit Grandma and Grandpa because he's got a wicked slice." I could have went there. He really does. If there's a tree, he'll find it, and it'll bounce. It's comical. It's fun. But anyway, Matt or Greg, you've golfed with Matt. You know the story there. He hits trees all the time.
He's a big
But
hitter.
we were actually both going to go over there, but it started getting dark, and so I'm gonna make it a point. I will be in that area today. I'm gonna make it a point to do that today. So you're inspiring me, ladies. This is awesome.
Yay!
This is really awesome.
It sounds to me like if Tom goes and visits his dad's grave today, and it's not in the kind of condition that he considers well taken care of, he really not supposed to just start cleaning it himself.
No, it is his parents, and I would imagine that you or your parents own the plots or that lot section of graves, so you can keep them clean. We can probably talk offline on what I would suggest for you to do, or you can reach out to me and ask me like, hey, it's looking a little rough here. Would you help me out in getting these cleaned? And absolutely we would. And that's the thing too. I want to say when we're gravestones and somebody comes up and asks us, hey, you know, my parents are buried in this cemetery. Do you mind if I clean them? Absolutely. We want people to learn and keep their family's history going as well. So we allow that to happen. If somebody reaches out to us, we've had people reach out to us because I've had a lady from North Carolina reach out to me and said, you know, I don't live in Rockford anymore, but I follow you on Facebook. I love what you're doing. Can you help us out? Like, my family doesn't live there anymore and they're buried in Greenwood. There's 5 gravestones there. Could I send you some money to clean? I said, well, you can't send me money, but you can make a donation. And I said, and absolutely, I'd be able to help you. It might not be this weekend, but when time allows, I'll let you know. And I'll send you pictures, so on and so forth. And so we've done that as well. So, you know,
what I was going to say, failing that you don't have like a class or something, what about like just soap and water
no,
and just spritz it? No, okay.
No. Absolutely. No, don't do that.
Okay,
No bleach, no soap,
Bleach.
no vinegar. Don't do that. You will ruin the stone. You'll ruin the polish. You'll ruin the stone. If you feel impaired to want to clean, just water.
Okay.
Until you get the proper solution we can talk about. So.
Okay, I'm glad I asked. One other thing, have you been? I think I heard the word Midway, as in Midway Village. Maybe have either of you been to Civil War days, World War II days? And if you have, what do you think of them?
I love it. I volunteered, and I'll be volunteering again this year in May, and I absolutely love how they teach the children. And what I'm excited about this year is that they're actually opening it up to the public for the first time in a very long time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer. And they're going to let the public be an experience with this, because they have not done that in a very long time. So I'm excited about it, because I feel that the reenactors that they have and the way they teach on how things would have been during that time period and that era, they do a phenomenal job. I think that they really do like it, and the kids are really, really engaged. So to me, that means that they've done the right thing and found the right people to reenact and teach these children about that time period.
They do a phenomenal job. When I was in college years ago, I worked for Midway, and I worked for probably a year and a half. So I did a couple of Civil Wars, a couple of World War IIs, and one of the things that struck me is that they are spot on with their uniforms, with the way they live, and when they stay overnight, they don't have like a plug-in auxiliary plug-in so they can microwave some SpaghettiOs. It's all what's the word?
It's legit.
That's how I would do it. I don't know about you. That's how I would do it.
No, I'm a complete glamper. If I ever go camping, it's glamping for me. I'm going to put a satellite dish on top of my tent if I can, and a little space heater in the corner, in case it gets down to 48 at night or something. But anyway, no, but I completely have the utmost respect for any of because they put their time and effort, their heart into it, and they have the uniforms and they spend money on it. And they go do this stuff and they study it and they know what they're talking about. So I would love to go back to something like that. I may do it again, but it's been so many years and now I've been working in this. I've been to Midway Village a couple of times over the last few years, but that's another thing I really need to do is get back there. Take the kids there. I have 2 grandkids. And I absolutely would love that stuff.
I will say too, the other thing that I saw last year, and that was my first time last year actually volunteering to help, but I really enjoyed the fact that they actually not only had like Union troops there reenacting, but they also had like Black troops there as well. So because again, you know, people just automatically think Civil War, South against the North, and they're all white, but people don't really like hone in on there were Black troops there too, and we're part of this. And there were so many men who died, Black men who, fought for their freedoms. And so I love the fact that Midway Village has those reenactors as well.
I agree with that. And I think lost in all of this too is that the Emancipation Proclamation happened in 1863. Not every Black person was a slave. People who fought, Black men who fought for the North and maybe even for the South. I don't know about that, but for the North that were fighting against the whole idea of slavery. So there were a lot of people in this country that were not slaves. And I don't want everybody to think, well, just because you were Black, you were automatically. And I like the fact that they bring that out, and it teaches us history that sometimes you don't get taught in the school system. So, again, off my soapbox now.
Nope, that's okay. That's okay. So, and the reason, I want people to also know too that we just don't focus on Civil War. We're just in that era right now because we in Winnebago County, we only have 4 Revolutionary War veterans. And so the Daughters of American Revolution take care of them when they can. I know for the 250th, they've asked us to take care of them so that they can do other things in the community. So we'll be taking care of the Revolutionary War this year as well. But after we're done with Civil War, I mean, when you think about it, there were 2,000 documented Civil War veterans here in Winnebago County and that are buried in the area. And so that's a lot of cleaning we have to do. So that's why we focused on the Civil War. So when we're done with the Civil War veterans, we'll move on to the Spanish-American War and then the wars after that. So, but in between there, if there are veterans that our volunteers want to clean that were from other time periods, have at it. So I want to make sure that people know that too. It's not just about Civil War, it's about all veterans.
I got to ask you, Jennifer, when you met Janie, did you realize how much of your time she was going to obligate of you? And
I had no idea. I knew that I was following her around with a camera, and she liked photography, and and then we were going to reach out, and we didn't, and then now we're neighbors, and and now I clean gravestones. So,
and I'm part of her family now. Her mom officially adopted me last weekend as I'm part of the family, but I still owe her $11. But we've traveled down to Petersburg last weekend to the Lincoln Memorial that they do annually, as well as the Dr. Benjamin Stevenson. Did I say that right, Jennifer? Who was the founder of the GAR, which is the Grand Army of the Republic. So we went there to clean his gravestones and clean the stone bases where some cannons have been put by his gravesite. So we traveled down there and had some really fun and good time. And her mom officially adopted me. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool. So
the only thing more important. Well, I was going to say the only thing more important than history is preserving history, and I think that's what's also lost. And I'm just so full of all of these things today because history changes. We call it revisionist history, and there's nothing that drives me nuts more than that. I mean, there are probably a few other things, nuclear war and all that, whatever. But in context, revisionist history drives me nuts. Let's tell it like it is, tell it like it was, and let's never, ever forget. Okay. All right. That is my final soapbox. I'm jumping off now. Until next time. Okay.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Greg.
I want to make sure we ask Jennifer about the Auxiliary of the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, because that's a very long title of an organization.
Very long.
And I'm curious how long you guys have been in existence, and what do you do here in the 815 here in the area?
So this started with my dad and him being a history buff. Had he done things differently, he would have been a professor, a history professor. But he collected military regalia, all kinds of stuff throughout the years since I was a child, and really got into the Civil War. And I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I know he worked at Memorial Hall. He was very into restoring the old building. I remember him taking me there when I was a little kid, carrying around a teddy bear, and him showing the building to me, and that he had seen it when his dad took him there as a child, and so he ended up eventually working there, and really kind of working to restore the history of that building. And then he got into, so that building, the Grand Army of the Republic, is kind of behind all of the memorial halls that are nationwide. And that's where the GAR, the veterans, would gather and do their thing. So 1866 is when the GAR was established, and then it eventually became the Sons of Veterans, and then it later became the Sons of Veterans. Sons of Veterans of the Civil War, and then the Union part. So okay, it's very long. And then when you add auxiliary to it, right? So they eventually realized they needed an auxiliary. And the auxiliary is more or less the women who help the men do the things. So they would, over the years, what they would do is restore gravestones. They would repaint cannons in the cemeteries, and then the women started helping them with that. And then also, our main objective is to involve the public in patriotic events, teach the public about that through Memorial Day, being a part of the parade, going to events, doing gravestone cleanings and cannon and rededications, done a lot of that. So I think we started helping my dad, and he was in the local group, the John Logan Camp in Rockford, of the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, and which is a national organization. And we started the auxiliary because we were already doing the work. So we might as well just become the auxiliary. So we are the Mary Logan Auxiliary, number 20. And we are an auxiliary at large because you have to have 3 auxiliaries in a state in order to have a department. So we are the only one in the state. So we are an auxiliary at large. And we have, I want to say maybe, I can't remember now, but around 10 actual members. Okay. And we do report to national each year, and there is a national, they call it nationals, but it's where everybody from the nation comes together in one area in August each year, and has meetings and does all of the formal stuff. But my brain just but so basically that's what we ended up kind of taking up with that. And then we work with the Sons, and we do those types of events and balls. And then also, I never did go to the Midway Village events. I think I am going next month to help out. But yes, the reenactments I started going with my parents to a while back. We wear their full regalia, and the people who really are involved with those reenactments, which have kind of dropped off in the past few years, but they're kind of coming back. So you have to wear everything legit. So the 8+ layers of clothing that women would wear, which is great. I mean, it's not great, but it's great when you have little kids who are asking you well, what's under that hoop,
Great in the wintertime, but not in July.
No.
No, it's not. It's really not that
sounds
fun.
Inappropriate.
Well, if you're wearing it correctly, you can show them that you're wearing, like, 5 more layers underneath you. But and then you did the campfires. You camped out in the tents. You did, when you cooked, they literally cooked a whole, I think, turkey in a pot over a fire. I mean, everything was very, very legit, authentic, the way it was supposed to be. And it was to teach that 100%, that's how it was. Like, this is what they went through. This is how they lived. So so it's kind of great in that way. And it did, like I said, fall off a little bit, but now it's slowly kind of coming back. So with the public, the Civil War days being open to the public again is great, because I think we really need that. And we really need to emphasize our history so that we don't repeat things. We can't erase what our history is. It's highly important that we continue teaching exactly what happened and exactly how it was. Yeah. And so that's really important to me, and carrying on for my dad and his love and his passion for that. He passed away in 21, and actually was very huge in the still in progress planning of the Benjamin Stevenson Memorial in Petersburg. So that is a big event for us. And there is a bench that was installed in honor of him and the work that he did there. And they're continuing that work. And my son is behind me hiding. So I apologize for getting sidetracked.
Bring him on.
You're welcome, buddy.
No. And the other thing I wanted to mention was, just because of my dad, I decided to start a scholarship for him at Rock Valley. So that's new this year, and I'm really excited about that. It's just difficult because when you're looking for somebody who's pursuing history, the pool is very small. So as Janie and I were discussing last week, I found out there's one student that matched the criteria. So I had to kind of open it up a little bit more. So it's sad. We need more people to be involved.
Well, there aren't as many dollar signs attached to a history degree as there are to, like a tech degree or something like that. So
I know I have a bachelor's of fine arts, so I'm an artist, and I completely understand that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Albert McDowell, 1840 to 1860. Sorry, the connection's really slow on my end for some reason. Albert McDowell, 1840 to 1866. The war ended in 65. Know anything about cause death, die of extended injuries or something like that?
We don't, and it's unfortunate and more. Yeah, so we did track, and actually he joined 1 month after emancipation. And so once that happened, he served for 1 year. So he was discharged then in January of 1866. And we believe that he did that because he needed money to come up north. So, he was a free man now. How is he going to make it up north? And I say, he was coming up north, and why Rockford? That was one of our big things that we were trying to tie in and add to the story. We could never really prove that he had family here. And that's why he came to Rockford. But we guesstimated that maybe he arrived in June-ish of 1866, and then he was here for about 6 months, and then he died. The unfortunate, sad part about it is because he was Black, their stories weren't really published in the paper at that time period because they were Black. And unless he was doing something that was incriminating or he did something bad, those are the stories that were published, unfortunately, in the story. Not the everyday thing like Albert McDowell died. We didn't have anything on him until the later 1800s. And again, all that's said in the paper in news banks is A. McDowell, colored troops. And that was it. So we had no time period on when he died or what day he died. And through documentation that Cedar Bluff had, is we know that he died on December 6th of 1866. So we just had, and he was 25 years old. That's the only thing that we had, and that is it was A. McDowell. So what we did find is later on there was a book published about the Black families here in Rockford, and so there was a McDowell family mentioned here. So we could never tie officially that he was related. We can only make assumptions that that is the reason he came from Georgia to Rockford, is because probably his family members made it up here, and while he was serving to earn his money to come up here, and that's why he decided to come to Rockford.
Okay, very good. Very good. Well, I wanted to bring up too that
well,
for
that
a
little
while
history is
I was working for an
better than
organization
none
that
at all.
traveled all over the state of Wisconsin, and you could tell which communities, which small towns really took pride in the history, and that, like you said, the kept the cannons or the tanks or the every so often you might see a helicopter or something on display in one of these small towns around Wisconsin, and I think you just assume the town takes care of that, but it sounds like it's a lot of organizations like yours, Jennifer's auxiliaries, these sons of veterans wars and of civil wars and stuff like that actually takes care of this stuff, and not the municipalities.
And some of them might, I'm not sure, but that I know for the Sons groups, that is a big part of what we do. And I know there's a lot more of them out in other states, especially, if you go east, but there's a lot of us out there, and that they do help. They help with all of that. So I can't speak to what the municipalities may or may not do, but yeah, that's one of our main goals for our organizations, is to keep that stuff pristine and alive and seen by others.
Well, I know when we talked off the air here that you're open to finding more people that want to be involved in your organization and get plugged in. So we've got a email address for you that we're going to put in the chat, and it's in the description of on our Spotify. If you look up our Spotify show, you'll see it in the description there for the show today. If you're wanting to reach out and learn more about what Jennifer does with the Auxiliary of the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, you can reach out.
Yay! Got it.
and talk with Jenny about that. We've gone, I'm sure, way longer than you were anticipating already. So trying to land the plane, I still got a couple things I wanted to ask you about. The first of which is in your starting this organization, especially you, Janie, have you found that there are other organizations like yours across the country? Is there an association of stone scrubbers or anything like that that's like a nationwide type of a thing?
I have seen, like in Wisconsin, there is a lady who does something similar to what we do. She was just doing it on her own at first, but I think we talked a little bit, and she's started her own volunteer group up there. I think it's called Wisco Stone Scrubbers.
Okay.
Is her group as well. And so I think that there's groups out there, but then the sad part is, and again, we live in a country where you can capitalize on things, that now there are companies out there that want to charge. And I'm not a fan of that, because of the fact of, there are organizations out there, plenty of organizations, I feel, or people wanting to do it for free because it's about the preservation. And I feel like charging people is not right. So, for us, that's why people are like, hey, can I pay you to do this? No, you can't pay me, but we will take a donation to help support our volunteer process. So our volunteers have equipment and everything that they need to learn how to do this. So,
okay. And if someone wants to volunteer, we've got the link there to your Facebook page in the chat today. So look that up, and should be an easy one-click thing. I don't think I'll have to, I think I might put it in there one more time because something is not looking like it's supposed to. So I'm going to put that in there. It's faded out for some reason. For those who might be watching on Twitch or Rumble, YouTube or Facebook, it should show up right there and be available for you to click on right now and go right to the Facebook page. Connect with the 815 Stone Scrubbers and let them know that you'd like to be a part, or at least learn more about what they do. And what do you have an upcoming event, or is there a cleaning in the next few weeks that you're already planning that you want people to come out and maybe see what you do and get an example?
We are trying to work on something for June.
Okay.
We have had difficulty getting into the last cemetery that we need to get into for Civil War veterans. We've had no luck in reaching their director or him wanting to return our calls. So I think we have a backup plan. We're working on some things with the Belvedere cemetery that has some Civil War veterans there. We're waiting on approval there. And then if not, I'm thinking about possibly connecting with Jeff Welty to have us back in Cedar Bluff, because he needs a whole lot of love there with his gravestones. He's a one-man show running a cemetery. So I'm sure he would welcome us with open arms to have our volunteers in there again. And then we'll probably circle back around again, as I said, at Greenwood Cemetery. Some of our first ones that we did 4 years ago are starting to look a little like they could use some care, and we want to make sure that they're cared for. So we don't have any precise dates yet. And again, it's all stemming on the fact of we were waiting on approval from certain cemeteries. So, but I would imagine the next couple of weeks, we should probably have some dates on the calendar for people to come on out and join us and learn how to do this. So
again, people don't just show up and do this. You can't just do this without permission. So let's not, let's make sure that people aren't just thinking that they can take matters in their own hands.
No. And there is some science behind it too. Weather is a factor. The type of stone you're working on is a factor. Definitely the solution. We'll have arguments with people who are like, I don't use D2. It's too expensive. I use this. Don't do that. So, we have some do's and don'ts that we teach you as well. We want to make sure that everybody's educated and make sure these gravestones last another 100, 200 years.
Absolutely. Before we get into Tom's trivia, tell us a little bit about, I wanted to make sure we also mentioned your employer, Midland States Bank, has a foundation, and your job title there is also almost as long as Jennifer's organization. It's the Regional Community Development Relationship Manager, which I love that. That's what you do. So tell us about what you're doing at Midland States Bank.
Yes. As you said, I'm the Regional Community Economic Development Relationship Manager. So my job is this is honestly a dream job for me. So when I said earlier that I lost my job, I was sad. And I came into Midland 5 years ago now and started as an underwriter, and I worked my way up to this position that I have. This is a dream job. I get to be out in the community, help non-for-profits, volunteer, find opportunities for our employees to volunteer. Midland is a very big community-based bank. It's not just about money and lending money. It's about being in the community, knowing who our neighbors are, being involved with our neighbors, helping them. And so that's what I love about my job. I get to be out there, help other non-for-profits, help them grow, help their businesses, get our employees to help volunteer with whatever their needs are, and then help with other things like housing issues that we might have. Rockford is in desperate need of 9,000 new dwellings by the year 2030. So, I'm out there helping the city, helping, state representatives with whatever they need. And I truly just love the fact that I can go out there, and if there is a non-for-profit that needs something specific, I might have something in my toolbox on like, yes, I can hook you up with this person or that person and help strengthen what your mission is. So I love what we do. We have a foundation that is offered to non-for-profits that are out there, 501c3s or 6s. And so I encourage you to look up Midland States Bank Foundation. And we structure what we want to have those recipients have as our 6 pillars, we call them. So that's education, health and wellness, financial empowerment, housing, workforce development, and small business development. So if you have a non-for-profit and it falls in one or maybe all 6 of those pillars that we have, I highly encourage you to apply for our grants that we have. They are offered in spring and in fall. We just closed out our spring, and then our fall will open back up August 1st, I believe it is, and then go through the end of August. So I really, really encourage you to do that. Or if you want more information, you can reach out to me. I'll give you my cell phone number, which is 779-272-4124. And I'd be happy to talk to you about your non-for-profit and see what we can do to help you.
There you go. There's the link in the chat for everybody to check out too. The dates for the fall awards application opens July 1st, runs through September 30th, and the final notification to applicants is right at the end of the year, December 31st here, according to the flyer you gave me when we got together.
Yeah, so I got my date mixed up.
You got it. So
it's been a long week.
Yeah,
$7,500+ worth of grants being handed out. So if your organization is looking for help, here's a good place to go.
Follow me on LinkedIn. You'll see what we do in the community. I'm always posting on what our volunteers are doing. I feel trivia is coming on.
Yeah. July 1st is kind of an important day.
It's a very important day. It's the most important day of this man's life.
It must be his birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's Greg's birthday.
Yes, it is. So, awesome.
I love how you ladies scheduled that for July 1st to coincide with his birthday. That is so awesome. Kudos to both of you.
It was so planned.
I know you worked it out there.
It was.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, if anyone wants to volunteer for either of these organizations, reach out to these ladies. Again, Jenny's got her email in the chat. Janie's got the link to her Facebook page here in the chat, so it's easy to find. Is there anything we did not ask either of you about that you wanted to make sure we touch on before we do a little trivia and transition back into our normal weekend activities? Because I'm sure this was not your normal weekend activity today.
There's just one thing that I want to show you all, because I'm quite proud of this. But our 815 Stone Scrubbers in 2023 was the Rockford Rotary Club's recipient of the Mary Stuart Crothers.
Thank you, Rotary.
Community Impact Award. So it wasn't just about me being a leader, but it was about us as an organization making an impact on the community and cleaning these gravestones. So I want to just thank all of those volunteers, if they're listening again, because I'm always thanking them for helping us get this recognition and putting in the time and the work. And I just want to thank Rotary Club for recognizing that we were doing some phenomenal work in the community. So just want to throw that out there.
Little shout out to the Rotarians and the Kiwanians and all those out there who do wonderful work here in our communities. So anything as far as you, Jennifer, that we wanted to make sure we touched on before we move on?
I just wanted to mention, I know we're really slow with the Facebook page. So eventually the auxiliary will have a Facebook page, but I did want to mention that our local Sons group, the John Logan Camp, I think it's number 25. Anyway, they do have a Facebook page, and I don't want to not talk about the men, right? So if any guys out there want to get involved, they can reach out to the John Logan Camp and get involved with the Sons group. And then they may or may not have, photos of the auxiliary in their mix too. But eventually we will be up. But otherwise I can be reached by my email, and that's really it. I didn't want to leave the guys out. So.
and they do meet once a month, the first Wednesday of every month at Memorial Hall. So if anybody wants to just pop in on a meeting, they meet at 7:00. And if they want to check it out and see what they do, what's going on in their world, that's when they meet. And we do have a representative, which is Jen's mom, who actually goes to the meeting and then reports back to us on what's happening with the men.
All right. I'll put in the chat the link to the John Logan organization, so people can find that in the chat and connect with them too. So very good. All right, we've got something special, and you're going to help me score some points against Tom's Trivia. Let's do it.
It's time for Tom's Trivia Challenge on the In Crowd 815 podcast. Good luck.
And every week, Tom's got 7 questions for us. I hope to get 4 or 5 of them right, just to feel better about my weekend. And we're all going to work together as a team to score points against Tom's Trivia. So, Tom, what do you got for us this week?
Wow, you were cut out like a minute or so. Not a minute, maybe 30 seconds. Anyway, all right, here we go. First and foremost, I want to let all of you know, Greg already knows this trivia is not designed to make you feel stupid or anything like that. They're fairly easy questions, but they do require you to think. They're not like 2 + 2 is 4. It's not that easy. Or the capital of Illinois is Chicago. I mean, hey. All right. Here we go. And they do have one local trivia at the very end, because we always do a local trivia. All right, here we go. States nicknames. Which U.S. state's nickname is the Magnolia State? Is that Alabama or Mississippi?
Ooh.
Once again, name is the Magnolia State. Is that Alabama or is that Mississippi?
For some reason, I'm leaning toward Alabama, but I don't have any clue.
I think Alabama.
I was leaning that way too initially.
It's open. Tom's delaying.
Right,
his delay in its feed.
Well, I'm delaying because I'm thinking that maybe somebody will crop up and say Mississippi, because that's the answer.
Oh,
it is Mississippi.
One wrong. All right, one wrong.
That's all right. Last week the group started out 0-1, came back with 6 in a row. So here we go. Question number 2. In 1988, the film Dyer came out. Who was originally slated to play John McClane? By the way, not a Christmas movie. Was it Frank Sinatra or Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold.
Arnold.
Once again.
Arnold.
All right. You don't need me to read it again, huh?
I don't think
No.
so.
It was Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra.
No.
Come on, he was dead by then. Come on.
No, boy, the connection's really bad here.
He was too old.
Yeah. He couldn't do all
There's
those
like
stunts.
a 5 second. I don't know what to do. All right, number 3. Still go 5 for 7. Here you go. Islands. The Moai mysterious stone structures carved to resemble humans with large heads can be found on what island? Is it Christmas Island, Easter Island, or Gilligan's Island? That third one doesn't really count. Once again, the Moai mysterious stone structure. Okay, stone structures carved to resemble humans with large heads can be found on what? What'd you say?
Easter.
Easter is correct. Yeah, baby. We're on our way back now. All right. Golf. Question number 4. Golf. Who won the 2026 Masters tournament just this past weekend?
Oh,
We were busy cleaning
Once
stones.
he was in jail.
no, but he's a repeat. He's a repeat champion because he won last year too. I can't think of his name. Rory McIlroy, right?
Yes, Rory McIlroy. Yes, you are 2-2, making your comeback here. Nicely done. All right. Here's one. Now think about this one. Greg, you're the music man. Think about this one. In 1968, the Beatles released their first song to be recorded on 8-track recording equipment as a single. They released it as a single. The B-side was Revolution. The A-side was it Hey Jude or Yesterday? The A-side of Revolution, was it Hey Jude or Yesterday?
The B-side?
So
Yeah.
I think it was Yesterday.
Well, the B is Revolution. What was the A? Or Yesterday?
I want to say Yesterday.
I'm thinking it was Yesterday.
Anybody else?
It's another one of those. I initially, my initial thoughts are not the right ones, so I have to stop going with those.
We're just bad at trivia.
That's my favorite Beatles song, and my second favorite Beatles song is Revolution. Let It Be came off the next album. I want to say it came off of Abbey Road, along a long and winding road or something. I don't know. Or Let It Be. Came off of Let It Be. That's what it was. And then this one here came off of, I don't remember. All right. Question number 6. In 1865, William and Catherine Booth founded this church and organization. What is the name of the organization? It's still around today.
Oh, you're not giving us any options?
Yeah, right?
No, you only get options for the first 3.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
And today it was 4. I'm gonna give you one little hint.
A hint?
Yeah, that's my hint. It's where I got him.
Repeat the question.
All right. In 1865, William and Catherine Booth founded this church and organization. What is the name of the organization? It's still around today.
Oh, Salvation Army.
Of course.
Salvation Army.
All right.
Very nicely done.
All right.
All right. You are 3 and 3.
Precious
Greg always
on the
hopes
7th
for
question.
4 and 3. 7th question. This one here. Now, this one here. Think about it. Okay. Local trivia. In what year did the Tabella Shrine begin in Rockford, Illinois? Did 1894 or
1894.
We're going old.
I'm going with it.
Shriners begin in Rockford? Was it? Oh, that
1894.
I heard something. Yes, I'm not letting you go any further. You got it. 1894. You got 4 and 3.
And I only knew that because I was trying to do research one time, and it was for one of our Civil War veterans who was part of the Tabala. So I knew, and I was trying to get documentation from the current Tabala. So
that is precisely why I chose an older question like that. That is exactly why, because of what we had coming on today. I knew there was a history involvement with it. So very good, very good. There were a couple of tough ones on there.
Know it.
Yeah,
that was a little challenging. That was a little challenging. So, we really thank you for your time this morning, ladies. I appreciate what you're doing, and we look forward to catching up with you again to help you get the word out about what's going on with your organization, and hopefully you'll get some more volunteers, and not just ladies. It looks like you could use some male help with your 815 Stone Scrubbers. All these pictures, I'm seeing a lot of wonderful ladies doing great work.
Come on, guys, step it up.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having. Appreciate the plug and everything that you do in our community as well, Greg and Tom.
Absolutely. Well, have a great rest of your weekend. We'll catch up with you down the line. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a great
Oh, I think we could have talked for hours for these ladies. That was a lot we could go
what
on.
a couple of great guests. They were just so personable and just so easy to talk to. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Very well done. Our big number of the week this week, our current race to 10. I'm in the lead by a score of 5-4. And our big number of the week this week.
I'm kidding. It's not.
100.
I'm no longer mad about what was it? Valker?
Yeah,
I'm over it now.
Dropped that one on me lately, so that was good. That's been good.
Yeah, I know. I'm no longer mad about it.
1.36 million, everybody. 1.36 million is the big number of the week this week. Is the answer Condo or Cathedral? You gave me your guess, and I need to change the score. Let's see here. Where'd you go? There's the score. Change the score. San Francisco, California. The cost of housing there is just absolutely crazy, as you've probably gathered.
I'm in trouble.
The AI startup boom is pushing what already was one of the most expensive housing markets to dizzying new heights. The median price for a house in San Francisco right now is $2.15 million. That's up 18% from last year. The median price for a condo jumped 27% to $1.36 million. I'll take the point on this one. According to data from Compass, reported by Bloomberg, a 27% increase in the value of condos in San Francisco is as bad as that city's been managed and as terrible as it's turned into. It's nasty. Apparently they're going to start cleaning things up because they're still the tech hub of the world, basically, and people want to live there because they want to be near these AI companies that are starting up.
Right. Yeah.
It's so expensive to live there, though.
Well, as long as you don't mind poop on the streets. I mean, what the heck?
I know, right? Have you ever been much of a Lego guy, Tom? Ever been into Legos?
Oh, I've stepped on many of them.
So the Cathedral part of this, which was your guess, 1,260 pieces make up Lego's model of the Antoni Gaudi's Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. I know I didn't say that right.
It doesn't sound like a lot of pieces.
Coming out later this year.
Half of those just this last week.
If the reports are true, this will be Lego's largest ever Lego set. The current title holder is the Art World Map, which was, let's see, just under 12,000 pieces, about 11,700 pieces. So this one's 12,000.
That first number, then you read it wrong. You said 1,000 something.
You're right. It's 12,060.
Okay.
The toy version hopefully won't take as long as the actual cathedral to build. The cathedral in Barcelona has been in construction for how many years, Tom? It's going to be completed this year.
400 years.
Close enough. 144. That's a long time, though.
I'm dyslexic. I meant 144. That's what
for 100. They've been building this cathedral in Barcelona for 144 years, and they're finally set to complete it this year. And this is the Lego set to commemorate that, apparently. So I don't know. I've never been that much into Legos. I like Legos, but I've never been that in deep with the Lego stuff.
I'm way too ADD for something like that.
Right.
It's just crazy.
As far as shout outs this week, I really only have the one, and that's Tinker Swiss Cottage Museum and Gardens had our annual Visions breakfast at the Hoffman House this past weekend. Thanks to those who donated to help us raise money. We need to raise $600,000 to repair the limestone wall that basically keeps the cottage from falling into Kent Creek. And that's been deteriorating for many, many years. And that's still obviously deteriorating as the creek continues to run. And eventually...
Boy, I would think that somebody, somehow, some way would do an emergency fund and say, let's get this thing done?
Well, I don't remember exactly how many years we think we have left, but from what I remember, work should be started on the project within the next 3 years in order to preserve the house. If you go check out Tinker and you walk to the back of the house, you'll see just how precariously close it is to the cliff. So that needs to be done. It's a very tall cliff. I think it's 30 something feet, 40 feet, 30. It's up there. So that's a large retaining wall that needs to be built to keep the house from falling into the creek. And let's do our best to preserve history here in Rockford. As we've heard in the last couple of weeks, it looks like Briggs Mansion is going to be torn down. There's a lot of uproar about that being torn down by the buyer of that. But to those folks, I say, look, you drove by that house for 10 years and it's been for sale. Nobody bought it. Yeah. Nobody bought it. It's been for sale for over a decade. And what, now that someone says, you know what, okay, we can develop that it's on State Street. It's a piece of property on State Street. That's valuable property. So if no one's going to restore this and take care of it, someone else will do something else with it. And
boy, it's such a shame, because on one hand, I'm like, can't we just restore it? But you're right, 10 years. 10 years. Somebody had, and now you people come up and say, hey, we need to save it. Well, why didn't you save it? Why didn't somebody save it?
There's another house that's nearly not as old. Well, it's not as old, but it's for sale. And that one's going to have a buyer. But this one, the Briggs Mansion, it would be cool to have had someone see the potential in this and turn it into something special. And nobody has for over a decade. So here now the buyer is saying they're going to remove the house, take it apart, disassemble it. They're not rebuilding it anywhere. It's just they're salvaging what they can out of the inside of the house, and something else is going to be done with that property. So there you go. I mean, what are you going to do? So we'll see if any last minute things pop up that can change that. But it's hard to get too up in arms about something that's been there for that long and for sale for that long. Something could have been done a while ago. So anything else this week, Tom, before this show went a whole lot longer than we normally do with one guest, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you can, let's do a couple minutes off the air.
Okay.
Talk about some trivia stuff and a couple of other things. Right. But other than that, a lot of stuff going on with the Packers, but I'm not prepared to do any real Packer talk right now anyway, only because there's so much going on, and none of it's all speculation. Will we get Dexter Lawrence? Can we afford Dexter Lawrence? Blah, blah, blah. Is he even going to be any good? So I don't even want to get into any of that until I have more information. So.
No, I want to see the draft first. I want to see what happens with the draft.
The only thing is getting Dexter Lawrence depends on would determine where we go with our first pick. So I would like to see a pick, because there are no defensive linemen. There's a kid from Iowa State, I believe. I think it's Iowa State, and I forgot his name. He's Citrus. They call him Big Citrus. He's his last name is Orange. It's like Dominic Orange or something like that. And they call him Big Citrus, and he's good. And he may be the only one coming out, but he's still not the best player in the draft. So he may last until 52. He may last till 45. Then we trade up if we really want him. Or you get a Dexter Lawrence or something like that. So anyway, for another day.
By way of a couple of quick announcements, 1 week from today is the Gigi's Playhouse 5K at the Stonebridge Trail at Roscoe Middle School. So if you want to support Gigi's Playhouse, the Dash for Down Syndrome, that is 1 week from today, steps off at 9 a.m. at Roscoe Middle School. A great way to support the InCrowd 815 podcast. Go to incrowd815.com and buy some of our merch. We've got merch. We've got hats and hoodies and t-shirts and all this stuff. So if you'd like to support what we do here on the podcast, please buy some merch. That'd be wonderful. Incrowd815.com. Next week, we're going to learn about Pucks for Autism. That's a hockey thing. Pucks for Autism. And also Children's Safe Harbor, 2 new organizations to learn about next week here on Incrowd 815. In the meantime, remember, you change the world when you help one person. So be a blessing to someone today and every day this week. We'll meet you back here next week for another Incrowd 815. Tom, I'll see you off the air.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye, everybody.
815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815 in crowd. 815